Hello, this is a short video. This is a short Affinity video on how to create masks using channels. Why would we want to do that? Well, there's different ways to create masks from all types of things. You can do it from color or shapes or whatnot. A really good example of why we might want to use channels is to isolate subjects from their background that perhaps don't necessarily have a very clean distinction from their background. Sometimes you might want to use it if you're perhaps want to isolate a model from a background, using that, to isolate their hair and that kind of thing. There's different ways of doing it, but this is an example I've got here. I can show you. So we've got a tree here. This is a photograph I've got off Pixabay. As you can see, it's got it's not a bad photograph, but a little bit of a dull background. But what if we want to perhaps change that background, keep the tree, keep the foreground, and just swap in a different sky? There we go. And as you can see, I've created a mask basically to isolate the tree and the foreground there, and it's pretty clean lines, and you can see the detail in the leaves is still there. So how do we do that? Okay, so let's start. Here we are with our blank Affinity photo screen, file, new. We'll use the A4 format. I'm going to go into landscape. There we go, and we've created that now. Now, one of the great things about Affinity is that you've got access from your panel here straight into some free stock photos. You see, you can access Unsplash, Pexels and Pixabay, which is brilliant. I know which photos I've already used. So the first one was tree in a field. I think I searched for tree in a field. Tree in field. There we go, tree in field. And just to show you how lazy I was, I just selected the very first picture. All you do, you click on it, drag it across to your layout. There we go, using that arrow there, click on your image, and the image is obviously quite large, so I'm just going to reduce that by 50% and see what happens. There we go. And let's just fill our space to the edge. There you go, it's got snapping on, which is great. And now I need some sky, so let's type in sky. There we go. And we're kind of looking for some nice white clouds on a nice big blue sky. There we go, there's one. Grab that, bring it across to our screen, and let's just scale that into place too. Going back to our layers panel here, I'm just going to drop the sky behind our main subject, because what we want to do basically is remove, is keep the foreground, which is the tree and the field, and remove the background to expose basically the sky in the background. So behind, what our intention is to have a nice big blue sky behind that tree there, instead of kind of a bit of a dull kind of looking sea and dull grey looking sky. The way we do that, okay, click on our main image there, and what we want to do now is we're going to use the channels panel here. As we can see, the channels panel down the bottom, we're going to look for contrast. I'm going to just go down channel by channel, turn them all off. They're all off, and we're going to go down, clicking one on at a time, and just seeing which one's got the most contrast. So the red channel hasn't got much contrast between the tree and the background. The green one is a bit similar, not too much contrast. Let's try the blue one. There we go. So there's quite a lot of contrast there. The tree's dark, the foreground is dark, and behind the sea and the sky is quite light. So that's a good start. It's not kind of what we want. What we're looking for is a kind of white and black separation. The way we achieve that is going into our adjustment layer, adjustment panel, and then click on levels. And now using the black level first, we're looking to try and increase the blacks like so, okay, whilst not making everything black obviously, and then we're going to make the whites whiter like so, and as you can see now we're getting much more of a kind of high contrast image. And you've got to be careful here that you don't take too much detail away. You see as I go in with the white, it starts to remove some of the edging of the leaves there. There we go. You don't want to do that too much, and it's just a case of tweaking them all so you get nice dark blacks and nice bright whites. There we go. Now that's not a bad job, but I actually want to make this worse, to be honest, because I just want to show you something where it might not be perfect. And also you can extract a bit more detail out of it if you do it the way I'm going to show you. So what I'm doing, I'm just moving everything back a bit to allow the details of the leaves to stay, but you'll notice that now there's some flecking going on here in the background area there, and yeah, there's some flecking going on there, which is fine because it's not going right to the edge of the trees, but we maintain the details on the leaves. So I'm okay with that, okay, because we can fix that afterwards. Now what we do now, we come onto our hover over our composite blue channel, right click and click on load to pixel selection. There we go, load to pixel selection. Go back to our layers, click on our image there, and now if we click on our mask layer, it will now automatically create a mask out of our pixel selection, which is great. Okay, I'll just come over here and just click away now. So we've now got a mask, and we've got a levels adjustment. Let's just turn the levels adjustment off. And also we need to, everything's looking a bit strange at the minute, that's because we haven't got all of our channels switched on. Let's put all of our channels back on. Okay, and this isn't looking quite the way we want it because our mask is actually the wrong way around. We want to invert our mask, because what we're doing at the minute is basically our mask is kind of working as it should, isn't it? It's showing all the foreground and it's using the mask as the foreground and the tree. But what we want to do is invert that. So we come up here, go to layer, invert. So we've inverted our mask now, and there we go. So let me just show you what's happening. Is that this area here is transparent. As you can see, I've switched the background off. Okay, now here's where we come into our little flecking bits here, which is fine to be honest, because what we've done, we've kept the detail of the leaves. So the way we do that, we want to fix that. We just come in, hover over our mask, right click, edit mask. Okay, and you can see the fleckings here, and what we want to do is click on our paintbrush, make sure we've got the black paintbrush selected, and we can just go over this now just with our black on those little areas of flecking, and that will vastly improve our mask. Yeah, similarly if you've got any flecking down here, we've got a little bit, and click on there, we make this white. There we go. You can see any flecks, just get rid of those, and now we've got a great mask. Okay, and I can just turn the background on now. There we go. Now the sky looks a little bit unusual, as you can see, and the reason for that is basically the clouds are too low, if you know what I mean. If you get rid of the top image there, the clouds actually start on that horizon there, but we're actually positioning them slightly wrong. But that's a quick fix. Click on the sky in the background, click on that, and let's just move our sky up. There we go, to a point there. Well, we obviously can't see the ground in the background. Yeah, and there we go. Now the next thing you can do, if you do want to make a color, I'm going to get rid of our levels adjustment here just for clarity. What you can do a bit of color adjustment, but I'll just show you how to do that, because now the sky is a lot bluer than it was, so that does have an effect on the foreground here. So we can go into our adjustments here, click on HSL, which is basically our hue and saturation, and we can adjust that if we want. Now you could make it a bit bluer, and that actually would fit better, but you know what, this is photography, and you can actually make it a bit greener if you want, and just make everything a bit more vibrant. So you can play with that, and you can ooh, hang on a minute, I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm affecting everything all at the same time. Let's just reset, and that's because I need to go into our layers and I need to drop that onto our layer, otherwise it's affecting everything. There we go. I can click on that again, and now if I change it, it's just affecting our foreground. Right, and there we go. You can change that however which way you want. And actually I'm just going to go, I'm probably going the wrong way that I should really, just to make everything a bit more vibrant. There we go. And that is how we do it.